Welcome to Sikhcast, brought to you by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. My name is Muktnoor Kaur, and I'm a transcreator and commentary writer for the Guru Granth Sahib project. We're excited to announce the release of Bhagat Surdas Ji's composition, one of the 15 Bhagats whose contributions are included in the Guru Granth Sahib. There is no official title for this first composition in the table of contents of Guru Granth Sahib, which consists of a single line that doesn't explicitly mention the name of Bhagat Surdas. This single line Shabad is set to Rag Sarang, a musical mode that evokes a mood of simplicity and is often associated with folk cultures of the region. Still, Sikh scholars have widely identified it as such, and there is a lot more historical debate to explore in the historical dimension of this release. This collection is pretty unique in that the second Shabad this month is revealed by Guru Arjan Sahib, but is said to be an elaboration, a sort of speaking back or with Bhagat Surdas Ji Shabad, and it actually even explicitly calls to Bhagat Surdas. It literally mentions his name, so it is really helpful to read these in conversations with one another. Further reflections on the Shabad are Chhad man har bimukhan ko sang. Our team translates this as, O mind, renounce the company of those who have turned away from her. As we often see in the Guru Granth Sahib, this is another message for our minds, a thought for the self, a moment of reflection to renounce the company of those who no longer follow IkOankar, the divine. I think the word renounce, especially in English, can feel quite heavy and quite final, like casting off something into exile almost. The idea of renunciation, or in Punjabi, we understand it as tyag. It feels a bit incongruent with what I think is the general idea of Sikhi. That is, it is literally never too late to try to find a connection with IkOankar. You can never really be disconnected. We just feel disconnected, which is why it is always helpful to return to the original line, which is chad, just let go. This kind of sense of unbotheredness or unaffectedness. If we can imagine it for a moment, it's almost like there are all these distractions around us. And I think that it is incredibly relatable for all of us. We're all constantly being distracted by one thing or the other. Some platform, some streaming service, some industry is always trying to solicit some sort of reaction or engagement or comment or a click from us. And instead of propelling the wings of fear and anxiety and insecurity and materialism, the overconsumption further, we instead see those things and simply observe. Still, we resist in place, we let it go, we leave it, and we refrain from getting involved or participating in the vicious cycle because we are focused on something more significant than something more meaningful. It's this idea that I don't need to be the company of the ones who aren't interested in IkOankar or cultivating a relationship with, here the synonymous name for IkOankar is her. When we devote ourselves to the fear eliminator, do we still feel like we're missing out? Do we feel that nagging urge to turn our attention to these distractions every hour of every single day and chase these ever moving goalposts or the latest microtrends or the newest overperforming cryptocurrency or the most outrageous hot takes that are probably definitely rage baiting us into staying engaged longer? Maybe not. I wanted to share some insights on a word in this composition, bimukhan. Popularly, this word is understood as disregardful and colloquially even referred to as vemuk or bemuk. But it's important to distinguish between a Vemukh and the frequently used in Sikh parlance Manmukh. We understand Manmukh as someone who follows their own mind and may be non committed to the wisdom. Vemukh is quite different than that. It is someone who at some point followed the way of the light but then stopped doing so. There is a connotation of the cessation of the following in the real sense. And when I think about this, I start to reflect on the things that I choose to spend my time and energy on, the groups, the platforms, the places, but really the things and places that I spend any resource that I have on. The focus turns inward. We might recognize that we ourselves at one point have crossed paths with or have been someone who stopped trying to cultivate a companionship with the divine. So Bhagat Surdas Ji's line is the most softest and gentlest of the nudges to our stubborn and reluctant minds to remind ourselves, free from value judgments, to at the very least be open to observing our more harmful or destructive patterns and behaviors, especially those that take our attention away from the divine. That's what I've been thinking about with this composition and with this brief introduction to Bhagat Surdas Ji's Shabad. I really hope you find some time to continue on to Guru Arjan Sahib's Shabad in this release, and I think we all find a lot more patterns to reconsider and reflect on between the dialogue of these two Shabads. As usual, there are definition, footnotes, translation, transcreation, and commentary to explore and hopefully discuss. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Read the translations and commentaries at gurugranthsahib.io.
You are listening to Sikhcast by Sikh Research Institute, illuminating every path.